So, are you okay with this? Let's take a moment to consider the rising tide of plastic pollution, a global issue that's particularly impacting the beautiful islands of Indonesia. Imagine, if you will, a paradise of lush greenery and crystal clear waters, now increasingly marred by the sight of discarded plastic. This isn't just an eyesore, it's a severe environmental crisis. The scale of the problem is staggering. Every year, millions upon millions of tons of plastic waste find their way into our oceans. In Indonesia alone, it's estimated that hundreds of thousands of tons end up in the sea. It's a problem that's not only affecting marine life, but also the people living on these islands. It's a situation that's hard to ignore, and it begs the question, now, why does this happen in such a paradise? You may wonder why such a paradise is suffering from this plastic plague. The reasons are multifaceted, starting with the sheer lack of waste management infrastructure. Without proper disposal and recycling centers, plastic waste often ends up in rivers, eventually being carried out to sea. Rapid urbanization exacerbates the problem. As cities expand and populations grow, the amount of waste generated increases. Unfortunately, the infrastructure to manage this waste often lags behind. But it's not just about infrastructure. There's a cultural component too. The culture of convenience, driven by single-use plastics, is a significant contributor to the issue. From plastic bags to straws to disposable cutlery, these items, used for just a few minutes, can take hundreds of years to decompose, if at all. And so the islands of Indonesia, and indeed the entire Indo-Pacific region, are under siege from this plastic tide. How do the locals deal with this predicament, you might ask? So, are you okay with this? The local community is not simply standing by, watching their home get swamped by plastic. Far from it, they've taken matters into their own hands. From the islands of Bali to Sulawesi, local communities are fighting back against plastic pollution with inspiring vigor and determination. Community cleanup initiatives have become a common sight. Residents come together, armed with gloves and bags, to clear their beaches and neighborhoods of discarded plastic. But their efforts don't stop at cleanups. Many communities have started recycling programs, turning waste into resources, transforming the problem into a solution. Education plays a pivotal role in their strategy. Schools, religious institutions, and community centers have all become platforms to raise awareness about the devastating effects of plastic pollution and the importance of responsible waste management. Yet, the question remains, can we do more? What do you think about this whole situation? Leave a comment with your opinion. Indeed, we can all play a part in turning the tide on plastic pollution. Our oceans are not the dumping grounds of our civilization, but rather the lifeblood of our planet. And the time to act, my friends, is now. Globally, we are seeing an emergence of unified efforts to tackle this issue. International organizations, governments, and non-profits are joining hands to implement strategies aimed at reducing plastic waste. They're focusing on research, education, and policy changes to push for a more sustainable future. And it's not just about cleaning up, it's about preventing the mess in the first place. But you might ask, what can I, as an individual, do? Well, you hold more power than you think. Change begins at home. It starts with responsible consumption. By choosing products with less packaging, by reusing and recycling, you can significantly decrease your plastic footprint. It's about making conscious choices every day. Choosing a reusable water bottle over a disposable one, a cloth bag over a plastic bag. Small steps, but imagine the impact if we all took these steps together. And there's more. You can use your voice to demand change. Advocate for policies that limit single-use plastics, that promote recycling, that hold corporations accountable for the waste they produce. Write to your local representatives. Participate in community cleanups. Educate others about the issue. These actions echo far beyond your immediate sphere, inspiring others and amplifying the call for change. We must remember, our individual actions feed into a global narrative. A narrative of change, of hope, of a future where our oceans are not choked with plastic, but teem with life. A future we can proudly hand over to our children. The cure for the plastic plague lies not in grand gestures, but in a million small actions. In the choices we make every day, in the voices we raise, in the stand we take. The power to change the world is quite literally in our hands. What do you think about this whole situation? Leave a comment with your opinion. If you liked this video, please subscribe and give it a thumbs up. These kind of videos are in addition to our normal ones. The history of the visited location, the top spots to visit, or an insight to the local culture. Maybe something completely different. Possibilities are endless. If you have any questions, feel free to post a comment. Till next time.